Let's get ready to rumble!
Sounds good with me. And I also like to note that these are the first teams here that I'm seeing, at least the ones that I remember, especially for two of the casters to be doing this, that went with the Intellect Enchant, which I'd like to say off the bat I do prefer. I think that the spell power is only doing so much, especially these low levels, and that Intellect pool is of the utmost importance, not going and that 22 int is just going to come in clutch when those battles start to get to be lasting a long time. So here we're seeing this duel get started here. Not Drew's coming in with his stealth, looking to probably get a sap off here if he's able to, but not getting overzealous. Doesn't want to get it brought out of the stealth. And look at this this diamond formation. Warrior actually playing safe.
Kashi pops him with the explosion.
Ooh, that's big. Finding the rogue is big, not allowing for the sap. Now the rogue wants to re-stealth. He's trying to if he can, but I don't know if there's going to be enough time to, as these warriors are kind of just trading blows. One of them with the sword and board approach, not having the enchant just yet, but they're still doing a lot of damage to their opposing warrior there. The Frost Nova goes down. It roots both of them, the Tauren in the place and the rogue in the place as well. And we're seeing that line of sight you talked about. Look at the priest in the back line.
You still see plants on the other side of the map in the window room as well. Both priests playing in the back line, trying to use LOS or what little LOS they have available, really, because they're both hugging that corner, making it difficult for their own healers.
Yeah, they are. Both priests are, like you said, playing really safe in the back line with their team right now. The rogue gets the re-stealth off. We haven't really seen any major cooldowns. We saw like a disarm come out, and that's got 22 seconds left on it. And then we are seeing then Ken kind of just making sure he throws one weapon at wall here. Just to make sure that they stay in combat. They don't get the charge off.
Plants getting a full drink off in the window room.
Ooh, that's very big to know. Full drink. That's going to give them the mana advantage potentially here. The mage is the only one. Oh, Bosh. Ken going down low, but starting to feel the heals right now. This is getting heated. And they do have that sword and board, so they are going to be sturdier when they're trading blows. And they're going with Sunder approach, which I love to see. They do put the disarm down onto Ken.
Kashi is chasing Plants around the corner here. They're doing the CC dance. Plants is not giving up this poly too easily.
Man, that has been wow, that's a lot of time that he's buying right now too. Just opting for the poly onto the warrior instead because they felt they were wasting maybe a little too much time there. They're gonna go for the poly with the priest. There's no time to. You're seeing both these priests playing with the LOS perfectly right now. And you do see Wall kind of opening up on the priest, but he is isolated right now. If he does start to take a lot of damage, that's going to be a real problem. The rank 1 Frostbolt's going to get the freezing proc there and allows the mage to kind of comfortably kite around the road.
Raleigh having his way on Dispels, heading outside now.
Giggity. 50% HP already is the priest, but they heal himself back up. But Cash here, I almost said Kakashi, but it's just Cash here is going to be at a lower total, but gets healed up pretty quickly. Not a lot of dam going out, but Dispels, I'd like to note their mana total. It is a little bit lower, so we're going to need to see some drinks from them. And we do. They're actually drinking up right now, so their team is taking some damage. So they close the distance and try to peel them back up, but they know they're comfortable enough to where they can get some sips. And so you saw Cash and Dispels get some drinks off there as their warriors were just fighting. And now Plants for the first time is starting to come outside, poke their head around the corner because they're seeing their team take damage. Ken's getting low down to 50%.
Sitting on Kashi.
That is massive, and it's actually sticking for quite a while there. The rogue, the mage is just out of the combat. They put the polymorph down onto the rogue. The rogue is going to trinket out of the Psychic Stream goes down onto Wall here. No Berserker's Rage available to them. There's going to be Ken charging in onto the rogue. The gouge is going to come down.
Did you watch him and break the rules?
Yes.
Please keep an eye.
Yes.
Ooh,
Wally charged from outside, but
that's okay.
Dispel's taking big dam right now in executable range. The Frost Nova goes down to try to protect them. A Warstop's going to come out. Can they get the execute? There's the polymorph down to 7% HP.
KO!
Dispels goes down. Is this one where they can bring it back? I'm not exactly certain. It looks like we're going to kind of close it out right there.
Wally's Plants' mana pool still looks pretty generous. I think they should be able to clean this up.
It's looking like the Cash in their team was just saying, okay, let's go to the next round. And wouldn't this be the game where you'd see a possible infraction? Wouldn't this be the game where you'd see a possible infraction? It would be.
This would be the game. One thing worth mentioning I wanted to say, if you look at Plants' weapon right now, you can see that he's swapped to a 55 healing. A really common, it's pretty much the meta for any caster, is they're going to start with an intellect weapon on the Twisted Chanter Staff. I'll specify it for a priest. You're going to get an extra 480 mana from that Twisted Chanter Staff with a 22 intellect compared to a Blessed Seer Staff with 55 healing. So what you're going to see is priests use that extra 480 mana, weapon swap mid-combat so they can benefit from that extra plus healing, which scales really, really well for a priest. And they can even have a Friar Staff with Spirit on it. So if they need to regen, if they get to drink, they can throw that Spirit Staff on. Because you can weapon swap in combat, these weapon swapping playstyles are very, very popular for all classes, really.
I noticed that halfway through. I was like, I'm glad to know the strategy kind of behind it now, where the weapon swaps are coming in. As a mage, I'd sometimes like a Spirit Staff as I evocate or something simple like that. But it feels like these guys take it to that step, if not further, even in the 19 bracket, which is lovely to see.
I'll tell you, I'm excited to see. It's 1-0 here for the New Yorkers, represented by Spacebar. I'm excited to see if CWS has the ability to bring it to 3 rounds here.
I personally would love it to go to 3 rounds, and it feels like this team is capable of just that. There was a lot of similar play there. Like, you could tell the priests really had a similar play style with like playing the absolute backline where there was ample line of sight available for them wherever they were staying. But they were in a position where they were able to kind of like peek around the corner, throw out heals, throw out those power shields, and make sure that their DPS didn't go down. And they didn't get their DPS didn't overextend. So you know that the communication's there as far as like, okay, you're getting dangerously far away. And both teams played those ranges really well.
It was a patient match, definitely, and I think Plants did a commendable job of keeping himself in the back line, and his teammates did a good job of keeping everyone off of him so he can stay out of combat and drink, because as far as attrition goes for that game, he was well ahead of his enemy opposing priest in the mana battle.
And that is one reason why I really like that, because it felt like the first day we were doing this, you were seeing a lot more just spell power enchants like regularly, and I kind of wondered if we would see more intellect, because that mana pool I feel like does have so much value to it. So I'm glad to see not only are we seeing intellect on their enchants, but we're also just seeing the swapping as well, which is taking it one step further.
I had somebody ask how many trinket cooldowns are we waiting for these arenas. Just so everybody knows, there's 3 minutes between rounds. The PvP trinket on use is allowed to be used, but we only wait 3 minutes between rounds unless teams say they're ready earlier. We are not waiting for 5-minute cooldowns between the rounds, but if teams use those in the first round, they will most likely come back in the middle of the second round, or they can elect to save them for a potential third round. But we are not waiting a full 5 minutes between rounds, just to keep things moving.
And good to note. And that's also often like a talking point for when I am doing these casts, no matter what the level cap is when do you use those cooldowns? Let's say you're losing your match and it looks like you've lost one member. I often see in tournaments where players still are expending those cooldowns, regardless of the fact that they very well have lost it. And you see it go both ways, Giggity, where sometimes it will pay off and they can pull that one off, but I feel like more often than not the cooldown is actually wasted, and you wish they would have saved it.
Yeah, you see it get used too close to their death to have been useful. That is I feel like a trend. I have seen that even in this tournament. Personally, I feel like it depends on your comp. If you have a priest on your team and your non-priest gets polyed, you're not going to go blowing your trinket right away. You're going to hope for your dispel. But if your priest gets polyed and they're opening on your, anybody else on your team, it might be in your priest's best interest to use that cooldown. So different classes in different situations will help dictate when the best time is for things like that. But there is always that personal choice to say press it or not.
Yeah, and it can be hard in the heat of the moment. Sometimes you play for the win, and I've heard that a lot. You play for the win, and when you get in that mentality and you get in that rhythm and that habit, sometimes it's hard to turn that off and make that hard call. But sometimes that's going to also make the difference between the team that has that potential to take it all the way and who's going to fall out of the early rounds.
It sounds like they need just 1 minute here. It sounds like both teams are electing to keep their comps the same and not introduce either of their subs.
And because here, could they technically even introduce their subs at this point once the first round starts?
They can sub them in at any point, but once they sub them in, there's no taking them out.
Okay, Cool. So they get the 1 sub potential. I was hoping to see a shaman tonight. Hopefully we still do get to see a shaman here as we move forward.
Ready, guys? So I'm gonna get ready and do the countdown.
Already.
We didn't get to see a poly on Plants. I feel like that would have helped CWS a lot, but Plants was playing that corner so well they didn't even get the opportunity.
Yeah. That was one thing that I was happy with seeing is the extreme use of the LOS. And you have so many areas to LOS that it's only natural that you're going to see some of these good teams really using it to its fullest potential.
Oh man, they charge right in here. CWS is playing this pretty aggressively.
Oh, wow. There's the double fear already. You're going to see 2 Will of Forsaken's popped immediately. The second stream comes out onto Wall there. Can't dispel that one. Here's the polymorph. It goes down onto Drew. Instantly going to get out of it with that dispel. Oh, speaking of dispel, is getting very low right now, and he's only being pressured by 1 player. The Frost Nova goes down. Cash is trying to peel for dispels. There's the bandage. 1 tick. Powered Shield's going to come back up. The Torrent is charging like a
lands
bull.
the poly, but Plants dispel. Trinkets out of that one.
And that trinket's going to be on cooldown 2 minutes. Dispels is still feeling the heat right now. We need to see some some peel here. Polymorph comes down, instantly going to get dispelled. Here's the full rank of Frostbolt.
Dispel's in trouble.
Cash is trying their damnedest to peel for him right now. They're still at half HP. The Warrior charges back into Stun. The double Frost Nova comes down, but they are going to get dispelled. This Priest is really on top of their dispels versus this dispels team. There's the heal. There's the Powered Shield. They're going to get War Stomp. Triple War Stomp, baby. That's huge. Dispels is falling low. Are they going to get executed? They get around the corner, down 4% HP. The heal's going to come down, and this is going to be an execution.
Plants is out of mana, and he's dropping quickly.
That's huge. If Cash could somehow live this one, it looks like they're kind of already calling it, despite that fact. If maybe they could have killed Plants and gotten a reset, perhaps, but it would have been an uphill battle. It looks like this is going to go in the favor of not Drew and Plants and Wall here, playing this one very convincingly. It just felt like Dispels was constantly being overpressured there, and I can't even. Cash was doing what they needed to in terms of peeling. They were throwing down the polys, they were throwing down the Frost Novas, and they were doing rank 1 Frostbolts, trying to just get this rogue off of them. But I think this is why you saw Plants consume as they were dispelling so much. Very, 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 very good dispels just coming out every time they needed to. And these players are no stranger to doing it. This is just another walk in the park for them in terms of the dispels. And you're seeing that showcased right here. And that's half your job as a healer. Obviously, keep your team alive, but that's gonna kind of showcase which can take it one step further if they are just really quick with those dispels, and you saw that right here.
So that was a relatively quick match, and I can't help but asking the question is if that's gonna clear the grudge or only add more fuel to the fire. But that seemed like a pretty decisive victory here for the New Yorkers representing Spacebar, and hats off to both teams. Both teams played that well. They did what they could, but like you said, it seems like one Priest was under a little bit more pressure than the other. And Spacebar, the New Yorkers, were able to come away with this one.
And I think the play of the game might go to Wall with that triple stop. That was sexy. And we were actually talking about this in my 3 versus 3 60 tournament just last Sunday.